No. Look, I think so. For us, think tech is about really getting together with our partners and our customers and collaborating around Yellowfin. So to that end, I think firstly, it's the focus is on education. It's about helping everyone to get a better understanding about what the capabilities of Yellowfin are, how they can use it, in their business. The second aspect of that is really the network. I think one of the things that has been really, really exciting is the ability of our partners and customers to get together and talk about what they do, and ultimately to get a better understanding of what's possible again and who they can work with to ultimately get a better outcome. Look, from the perspective of our partners, I think it's a forum to get together and understand what they all do. I mean, there's this perception often that partners compete with one another, when in reality they work in very different vertical segments or very different geographical segments, and so there's a huge opportunity to learn from each other, understand what works, what doesn't work, and how they can grow their businesses. So I think that's a fantastic opportunity. And for the customer, again, it's just getting a different viewpoint, a different perspective on how Yellowfin is used by other organisations, to get new tips and tricks on how to actually gain more value from the product. And again, one of the things that this industry in particular has just always suffered with is people's perception that they get lack of value out of BI and dashboarding tools. And the think tank is a forum to help address that. It's to say, this is what you can do, this is how you can improve. Look, I think there's a number of things that we've addressed in 7.1, and for us, I suppose we had a close look at where the bottlenecks were of people using Yellowfin. What are the things that were getting in the way of being really truly successful? So there was things around CSV imports and auto charts, and I class them as kind of minor, important, but ultimately in the grand scheme of things, minor improvements there. The really, really big difference is our focus on location intelligence and the whole idea of geopacks. And so what we looked at was the whole end-to-end of how do people create maps in Yellowfin, and we've simplified that process down dramatically. We made it really, really easy to do, and best of all, we're augmenting that. We're enriching people's data by bringing in external data into the application. So if you think about, if you've got data at the postcode level, and so you've got sales by postcode, you can now augment that with, well, what's the population there, what's the average age, what's their medium income, how many households are there, and so you can really start to get a much deeper understanding about your customer base with Yellowfin right out of the box, and that's probably the biggest difference to 7.1. Look, I think there's a couple of things that are coming towards peak. We've actually had about 5 years of a huge amount of innovation in R&D, and my personal belief is that that's actually going to slow down right now. I think we're going to go through a phase where organisations can consolidate with what they've got, and they have, the core of BI is fundamentally, is close to being done. I don't think there's a lot we can add to it, and so I think you're going to see a sort of settling around that, and you're going to see convergence of products. So for those vendors that haven't innovated, they are really mimicking what's out there, and so I think you're going to see a lot of products start to look very, very similar. And then to compound that, I think you're going to see a lot of consolidation in the industry. So there's more than 60 vendors currently in the industry. That's really not sustainable. I mean, the database industry has 2 primary vendors. There's at least 6 in BI, and that's going to have to shrink for the industry to be sustainable, and for the investment levels that have been put into the industry over the last 5 years as well. And so ultimately, all of that, this consolidation, this convergence of product, is going to lead to a level of commoditization in the industry. So you're going to see, I think, it's going to be very, very hard for organisations to differentiate themselves significantly. And so I think those ones that do survive and do stand out will do things differently. And that's really, I think, where, for us personally, Yellowfin is really focusing on what are we going to be doing that's going to be really different to set ourselves apart from the rest of the industry moving forward. That's good. Look, I think the only thing that you can do is compete on service. So I think, we as Yellowfin need to consider the total customer experience, the end-to-end experience, from the day you hear about us to the day that you've implemented and gone live and beyond. And we need to make sure that from the customer's perspective that entire experience is just world's best. Because I think already now we know that people buy us because they like who we are and they like dealing with us. But we need to take that to another level. We need to be entirely differentiated on that level. And I think we're in good stead for that. We've got a company with a great culture, we've got great people, we've got great partners, and we just need to have a very good understanding about who we are, where we want to be, and amplify that in the market.